So, what is going on with the Yankees? What's wrong with them? This is I hear it a lot from folks, and I said something in a bunch of my videos, and it holds true this year too. That the Yankees are notoriously slow starters. Okay, even though I think they're 10-5 right now, or 10-6, which is still a solid record. Um, they're still notorious slow starters, and they take a while for everybody to be clicking on all cylinders. Now, this year's a little different, obviously. It's a 60-game season and not a 162-game season, so the sense of urgency is a little different, even with an expanded playoff format, which is 16 teams instead of 10, which makes it very more than likely that they'll make the playoffs unless they seriously tank. But 60 games or 162 games, they're notoriously slow starters, okay? And it's been that way for the Yankees for a long time. Gary Sanchez is not hitting consistently yet. Behind the rotation behind Garrett Cole is not really is almost in shambles. And like Tanaka's building his way back up. Okay, he'll be reliable after just give him another 1 or 2 more starts. He can build up his arm strength again and recover, and he'll be one of those consistent mainstays. James Paxton had a really good game today until that 7th inning where he kind of gave up the lead and whatnot. But aside from that, he was pitching well. His velocity was back up to about 94 miles an hour, and everybody's been talking about, oh my God, he's only at 91, 92. Keep in mind too, he had back surgery, so he was already going to be coming back late, even if the season started in April, and everybody had an abbreviated season, so it's going to take a little while for some folks to get up and running. I do think the Yankees have the talent to play well. They obviously have the lineup, and with Giancarlo Stanton going down there with a tight hamstring, it opens up opportunities for people like Miguel Andujar or hopefully Clint Frazier. In my opinion, the Yankees either need to give Clint Frazier an opportunity here or trade the guy. Okay, it's not fair to him. All right, and he's a good player. He's got a good bat, and as much as I love Brett Gardner, and he's had a couple good games, I think it's time to start phasing in Clint Frazier. Decide whether he's going to be with the team next year, and if not, you have to let him play in order for him to build up trade value. Just because he has a bunch of years of team control doesn't mean people are going to want him. You have to let him play so that he can produce, which makes him more valuable as a trade asset, okay? But we traded Andrew Miller for him, okay? So why are we not giving this kid an opportunity? He can hit the cover off the ball. And again, he's like Miguel Andujar, and I hope he gets opportunities too. These guys are contact hitters, like Mike Tauchman and some of these other guys. Singles, doubles, they hit some home runs, but they're not overly reliant on home runs. Okay, so this is kind of it's almost like a turning point for the Yankees. What do they need to do? Okay, and I do think it's time to give these guys opportunities to have regular playing time. And now that Stanton's down, it's one of them should be in left field, or rotating between DH and left field, or DH and right field, or whatever it is. But it's time to get these kids an opportunity to play. They're both good hitters. Andujar obviously they both need some defensive work, but so did Stanton. Okay, so do other players. So does Gleyber Torres. So, but the fact is, there's young, really good players with lots of team control, and either you should play them or give them an opportunity to produce so that they can become valuable trade assets. Okay, and with regard to trade assets, before I go any further, my next video is going to be my MLB trade deadline predictions. Okay, it's going to be a big one. Okay, so if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do so, and make sure you hit that notification so you don't miss it. Okay, I have some pretty bold trades, everything on there is realistic. Depends on what's going to happen, what the teams need. But the needs are going to be a little different this year with a shortened season, where power is going to dominate. So, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification so you don't miss it. That's my very next video, okay? And for my regulars, you're in for a treat, okay? Give me some wild trade proposals. But back to the rotation. Paxton's building up, and I think he'll be back fine. I don't think personally I don't think he's going to be back next year. And then it's going to take Severino a while to recover fully from Tommy John. And Domingo Germán, we don't know yet, so there's going to be unpredictabilities in the Yankees rotation, which makes all the more likely that Tanaka's going to be or should be re-signed after this year for another year or two. He's reliable. He's been reliable. He's been an all-timer. So I would say, and Jordan Montgomery's young and up-and-comer too. I think he's going to be fine. And it's time to give maybe these young kids a shot. Clark Schmidt, Davey Garcia, even though he's young, give him a chance to be in the bullpen. Their rosters are expanded right now. So give these young studs a chance to play at the major league level. But aside from that, I think the Yankees are going to be fine. Okay, it's going to be bumps in the road, yes. And look at the landscape right now. Who would have thought that the Miami Marlins, even though they missed a bunch of games, would have a better record than the Phillies, have a better record than the Houston Astros? Okay, look at the Marlins' record. They're playing well. Okay, young, up-and-coming team. Yeah, they get rid of a lot of people. They're kind of incompetently run, it looks like. But they have talent, a lot of it. So who would have thought what's going on now? So it changes the landscape. So, but I think the Yankees are deep enough and talented enough to be fine. I think they're going to be in a position to win the division, but it showed with this series at Tampa Bay that Tampa Bay is going to be a tough opponent, especially if we play them in the postseason. The Yankees are going to need to make a move or two. Okay, and I think they're going to need to make one on the offensive side and at the pitching side, the trading deadline. Who? Let's wait and see. That's the next video. So, aside from that, the Yankees are going to be okay. I mean, the bullpen has been pretty solid, but they're being used quite a bit. Even though Zach Britton had an off day today, he's been really, really good. Vino's been good. Chad Green's been a beast. So it's time to give some of these young bucks an opportunity. Now that Tommy Conley's down, there's a spot open. So let's see what we have here. Let's see if they're not going to pan out, then maybe a different move needs to be made at the trading deadline, or an additional move. Who knows? But that's my state of the Yankees. They're 10-6. Garrett Cole's been spectacular. He's had a couple of bad pitches here and there, but he's clearly the leader of this rotation. He's clearly helping some of the other pitchers out. He worked with Paxton the other day on his delivery and fine-tuning thing, and I think it benefited him today. So I think he's going to be a benefit to the rotation, and even the bullpen. And we thank you for that, Garrett. But aside from that, they're solid. They're strong. I mean, like I said, they're slow starters. Once they get going, they will be on fire. That's all I can say. And that's my view on the Yankees. Again, don't need to look into it crazy. If they're 12-25, then yeah. But I don't think that's going to happen. So make sure you get that next video. Make sure you don't miss it. So, baseball fans, if you're a baseball fan, you like stuff like this, and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so. This channel is for you. There's some really good videos coming up. The next one's going to be the big one, okay? Trading deadline predictions. And for those that don't know, the MLB trading deadline this year is August 31st. So, only 2 weeks away. A little more than 2 weeks. I know I'm doing a little early, but if things happen to significantly change, maybe I'll do another one. But you're not going to want to miss this one. There's going to be some franchise-altering trades. So be on the lookout for it. Talk to you next time.